working from home has become an issue now because we have a lot of our clients now wanting to bring their people back to work because their people want to come back to work. Quite interesting. They don't want to be in a house anymore. They want to see their friends. They want to be with coworkers. They're tired of being cooped up. Most people never really anticipated having a separate room to work at home. So they're working off their kitchen tables, their dining room tables, off their coffee tables in their living rooms, things of that nature. And they're just getting tired of it. They don't want that stuff in their house anymore. They want to get back to the office. But yet we are also concerning ourselves. In fact, I just gave a manager training yesterday to a client with about 250 employees about bringing people back to work. And we have to make them feel comfortable that we are providing a safe workplace environment for them. So that is probably our next trend, how to get people back to work. Most companies aren't like Google that just announced that everybody's going to work from home until July of next year. A lot of these companies are having problems with training their people and getting them trained as new hires are coming on board. Quite interesting. We're also seeing a lot of dual working parents are having problems now working from home now that the school sessions have started. And they have to be on a computer with their child because their child is just too small to not be attended to. So we're starting to get some of these concerns from parents saying, I got to quit, I can't do this, I can't work and do this as well. We have a company out in Gwinnett, and Gwinnett announced a couple weeks ago that they're going to online learning. And you have to be at your computer from 8 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, and they will come up with schedules for lunch and all of that stuff in between. And so we had a mass group of females that they hire for their workforce in a almost like a distribution center. It's a printing distribution center. And they said, we have to quit. We have to be with our kids. And so we surveyed their people and came out with some thoughts and ideas. So we then offered them the opportunity to come to work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, work a 6-hour shift, then work on Saturdays to make up the rest of their 40-hour work week, and work on the production. The management's okay with being able to get this production out on these type of shift changes. And I believe all but one person agreed to come and do that work, and actually extremely happy because they didn't have to lose their jobs. So there are creative ways of doing things, and we're getting more and more creative as time goes on. And I can't say enough about this work from home situation. Remember, in March, when all of this happened, we kind of like shoved computers in people's hands or told them to use their computer at home, and they all went home and they all started working from home. Now we're starting to look at implementing long-term work from home policies and procedures. We have found that they're not treating their home environment like they would treat their work environment. We have security problems. We have confidentiality problems. We have spouses and friends and family hearing maybe HIPAA violations because they're hearing the person talk over a phone. We're having security violations on the internet because they haven't locked down their wireless networks and things of that nature. And as we move forward on having more people permanently work from home and those that are voluntarily working at home, there's going to be two sets of policies, and we're implementing a lot of this stuff right now because a volunteer work at home policy looks a lot different than a mandatory, listen, we don't have an office for you, you work at home, which means that you probably buy them equipment. You probably spend money on their internet, or you give them half the price of an internet. You require them to have a specific service on an internet. You have to have them have a specific phone that works. There's a lot of these cheap cell phone services you cannot call into a Zoom call on because they won't interface. So those type of things have to be established. Can't tell you how many employees at home can't do a Zoom call because they don't have a camera on their computer. So those are requirements that we are now setting in these policies of what it looks like to be a mandatory work at home employee and somebody that wants to work at home, but you have an office space, but you prefer to work at home, and we'll allow you to work at home, but we're not going to buy your equipment. However, you have to meet these standards. The other standard that we just forgot about when we sent people home in March was the confidentiality of material and the shredding of confidential information and making sure that stuff just doesn't get thrown in the trash that can violate all kinds of confidentiality law. So very, very interesting on this. One of the acquisitions I'm doing, 300 employee company, carved out of a 44,000 employee company. And in the transition, they made a decision that, listen, everybody's working from home. It's doing good. And we got the opportunity to cancel every one of our leases because of the way the merger works and the asset versus stock purchase. So we are switching everybody to work at home and closing our facilities down in 95% of the locations. Quite interesting. But the other thing that happened was, oh my gosh, about 130 of those employees crossed a state line to go to work, and they were working in another city. So now you have to transfer these people and probably set up payrolls in each one of those states that they are now working. And the IRS has actually made a policy on that, saying that during this COVID situation, they will not worry about where the people are working for 2020. But effective January 1st, 2021, you will need to pay the person in the proper state that they work in. So another trend that just keeps on cropping up in these as we're going through all of this COVID stuff. A lot of visas are being delayed right now. They are allowing employees that are on visas to work on expired visas as long as there is some type of communication with the government. And of course, the government keeps on closing these places down. As soon as one person gets COVID, they close the entire darn department down. I don't even know if you guys know, but two motor vehicle operations in northern Atlanta are closed right now, which now is forcing everybody to go to other ones. And you got to get an appointment. The appointment's sometimes now 3 to 6 weeks out, depending on what you need to get done on your motor vehicle stuff. So things are being delayed. And the medical advice, quite interesting, because we have seen and Robert Steele, you talked about it a little bit today too, this medical advice and telemedicine. We are seeing telemedicine just grow, and I think long term we're going to see telemedicine be an extremely big part of medical plans, and the reduction of people actually going in offices to get taken care of. But they are a savior right now because the doctors are so busy. But we've been able to crop up a lot of the telemedicine opportunities for employees to call and get direction because we're requiring them to get medical direction. We do not want to tell them how to take care of themselves with COVID. A lot of email fraud is happening right now because people are working from home. I think the computer departments are working overtime, putting VPNs and all of that on people's computers working from home. We're stressing our networks pretty hard. Of course, these Zoom meetings, my gosh, I think the first couple of weeks in March, you called into a Zoom meeting and you could hardly get into, you had to dial 4 or 5 times to even get in. I think we're seeing a substantial increase in productivity using these materials, as well as I think they're getting much better as well. Encryption. We forgot that when we're working from home, we have to encrypt things back and forth because maybe we had other means of getting this information, and now you're scanning and sending delicate and confidential information. So there's companies out there like Zixmail, and Microsoft encryption works well if you got 365. That's a very great product, and it's part of that service offering. So make sure the employees are using it. You don't want to get hit for cybersecurity for transferring information that people are pulling and getting data on. I think this one is pretty funny, but wow. Most companies have a drug-free workplace, and you can authorize not using drugs in the workplace. But now that people are working from home, we have an increase of employees getting high with drugs and also drinking on a job. I think one of you talked about, what else are you going to do at home? And it's rarely available, so people are going to it. So we are seeing a lot of issues of people, being drunk while they're trying to work. Very hard to police up because you can't look somebody in the eyeball. Even if you do a Zoom call, it's pretty hard to see if their eyes are glassed over. And but when they're slurring their words, and all of a sudden they're not at their computer for a couple hours, that something's going on. And you, as an employer, does have the right to come over to somebody's house. But again, in those work from home policies, you want to make that specific, that you can come and inspect their workplace for working conditions and actually workers' comp conditions, because you're still responsible and they're still under workers' comp while they're working at home.